Have you ever thought your nightly habits could be silently damaging your brain and heart while you sleep? If you're over 60, this might be the most important message you'll read this year. Today's topic on health, Tip 365, is shocking, but potentially life-saving. 5 common night habits that quietly increase your risk of stroke while you sleep, and how to stop them before it's too late. I'm not here just to inform, I'm here to sound the alarm. As a neurologist and cardiovascular health advocate, I've witnessed far too many seniors lose their independence, memory, and even speech from strokes that were entirely preventable, had they only known the truth about what happens inside their bodies after 11 p.m. At Health Tip 365, we're on a mission to spread life-saving knowledge and empower seniors across America to take back control of their health. I want to ignite a mindset of resilience and self-care. But I can't do this alone. That's why I'm asking you, dear reader, not just to take this message to heart, but to help us share it. Because what we do tonight might protect someone's tomorrow. If you believe in our mission, please subscribe to the Health Tip 365 channel and join the movement. Now let's begin with habit 1, and it starts with your bedtime. Most people associate sleep with rest, but if you're over 60, your brain sees it differently. It's not just rest time, it's repair time. Between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., your cardiovascular system is supposed to enter a state of restoration. Your blood pressure should lower, your arteries should relax, and your brain should flush out toxins that silently build up during the day. But if you're staying up late, especially past 11 p.m., you're short-circuiting that entire system. Cortisol, your stress hormone, stays high. Your blood pressure never drops. And your blood vessels, which are already stiffer due to aging, don't get the rest they need to reset. The result? A silent, perfect storm for a stroke while you sleep. I treated a patient named Mr. Richard Myers, 72, a retired Air Force mechanic. He was full of life and sharp-minded, but he had one habit he thought was harmless: going to bed at 1 a.m. He called it me time. One morning, his wife found him unable to speak. His right side paralyzed. He had suffered a massive stroke. No warning, no chest pain, just silence and then devastation. His imaging showed narrowed arteries and tiny clots, likely forming during those late-night hours. His brain was overstimulated. His body was sleep-deprived. His nervous system never got a break, and unfortunately, it broke him instead. If you're reading this at night and the clock says 11 p.m., consider this your warning, not just for your energy, but for your survival. After 60, every late night adds up. Studies show stroke risk spikes between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., exactly when your brain should be most protected. But if your vessels are strained and your pressure remains high, one clot is all it takes to change your life forever. So tonight, when you see the clock tick past 10:30, don't see it as just bedtime. See it as brain protection. One of the most powerful forms of self-care is choosing sleep before your brain begs for it. But the next habit is just as dangerous, and most seniors believe it's helpful. Let's continue our journey through the hidden nighttime habits that may quietly increase stroke risk after 60. We've talked about late bedtimes. Now let's talk about something just as critical, yet even more misunderstood: the habit of avoiding water at night. Many seniors believe they're doing the smart thing by cutting off water intake in the evening. Maybe you've told yourself, I don't want to wake up at night. I might trip in the dark or disturb my spouse. Better safe than sorry. But what if that habit, one you've followed for years, is actually thinning your safety net and thickening your blood? Here's a fact. Most people don't realize your body does not shut down at night. Your brain still processes repairs, detoxifies. Your heart continues beating, your lungs continue breathing, And yes, your body continues losing water through sweat respiration and urine production. Now here's where it gets dangerous for seniors. As we age, our ability to conserve water drops. This means that even without a hot summer day or exercise, your body becomes dehydrated faster and more severely. That dehydration doesn't just lead to dry mouth. It thickens your blood slow's circulation and creates a breeding ground for microscopic clots. These clots often form in silence and strike in sleep. I want to share the story of Mrs. Eleanor Chambers, a retired school teacher from Indiana. At 78, she was careful about everything: her meals, her medications, even her sleep routine. But she had one rule: no water after 7 p.m. Why? To avoid nighttime bathroom trips. Then one morning, her daughter found her confused, unable to finish a sentence. At the hospital, we discovered she had suffered a lacunar stroke, a small but damaging blockage deep within the brain. Her lab work showed concentrated blood and elevated hematocrit levels. In plain English, her blood was too thick, all because of mild dehydration overnight. She survived, but her speech was never quite the same again. A week later, she told me, "Doctor, I thought skipping a glass of water was just a smart habit. I didn't know it could take away my words." And she's not alone. I've seen this pattern repeat countless times. Patients who were healthy, active, sharp-minded, but made one simple mistake: they didn't hydrate before sleep. Let's be clear. I'm not telling you to chug a big glass of water before bed. That can be counterproductive, especially for bladder control. What I recommend is gentle hydration: 4 to 6 ounces of room temperature water, about 30 minutes before bedtime. This small amount is often enough to maintain healthy blood fluidity, prevent nighttime blood thickening, support smooth circulation to the brain, reduce your risk of clot formation. It's not about flooding your body. It's about protecting your brain quietly while you sleep. So many of my older patients tell me I'm not thirsty at night. That's understandable. But thirst is not a reliable signal after 60. Your body doesn't always ring the alarm until it's already struggling. If you wake up with a dry mouth, dizziness, or fatigue, it may not be poor sleep. It may be overnight dehydration in disguise. And if you already went to bed late, skipped dinner, or had caffeine in the evening, your risk of clotting goes even higher. One habit, one oversight, one dry night, and it could lead to the stroke that robs you of your voice, your balance, or your life. But if this surprised you, get ready. Because habit number 3 might be the most underestimated of all the stress you take with you to bed. Suahiko, if you're over 60, you probably already watch your diet, your blood pressure, and your medication. But what about your mind? What about the emotions you carry into bed each night? Today, we uncover one of the most underestimated stroke risks in senior health: going to bed with a racing mind and a heavy heart. Unlike cholesterol or sugar, this silent threat doesn't show up on a blood test, but it can destroy the most fragile blood vessels in your brain while you sleep. We tend to believe that once our eyes close, everything shuts off. But the truth is, your nervous system remains highly active if you go to bed anxious or overwhelmed. That means your blood pressure doesn't drop as it should. Your heart rate stays elevated, and your arteries, especially in the brain, remain tight and under pressure. In seniors, where blood vessels have already lost flexibility and resilience, this ongoing pressure creates the perfect storm for adrenaline spikes and blood clot formation even while you lie still. This isn't speculation. I've seen it unfold in real lives. Let me tell you about Mr. Harold Eastston, a 74-year-old retired police officer from upstate New York. He looked calm. He never complained. But beneath his steady presence, he was carrying everything: his son's divorce, his rising taxes, his fears about aging. He told me once, "I don't want to be a burden to anyone." He never shared how much he worried at night. Then at 3 a.m., one winter morning, he got up to use the restroom and collapsed. By the time he arrived at my hospital, a clot had blocked his left middle cerebral artery, the superhighway of brain blood flow. He survived. But today he walks with a brace and speaks with a stutter. When I asked him later what he thought caused it, he simply said, "I didn't scream. I just kept it all in, and it broke me." This is what silent stress does. It doesn't shout. It simmers. It raises pressure, quietly, hardens arteries slowly, and then suddenly it snaps something you can't repair. After 60, your emotional state matters as much as your physical health. Chronic stress increases inflammation in your blood vessels, disrupts hormone balance, and boosts platelet stickiness, making blood more prone to clot. Going to bed emotionally agitated is like going to bed with a ticking time bomb in your chest. You may not feel it right away, but your brain does. You don't need a therapist or medication to calm your mind before bed, although they can help. Start with simple habits that train your nervous system to relax. Turn off news and email 1 hour before bed. Write down your worries on paper. Get them out of your head. Listen to soft music or guided meditation. Try deep breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold 4 seconds. Exhale. 6 seconds. Pray, reflect, or repeat a calming phrase like, "I am safe. I am calm." These aren't gimmicks. They're neuroscience-backed strategies to lower cortisol, slow your heart, and relax your vessels. And if you're caring for an elderly loved one, teach them this too. Because mental pressure doesn't need to be shouted to be dangerous. Sometimes it's the quietest weight that crushes us the hardest. In fact, if you're reading this at night, pause. Ask yourself, did I bring stress to bed with me tonight? If the answer is yes, give yourself grace and give your brain peace, because it's not just about feeling better emotionally. It's about waking up tomorrow with your speech, your memory, and your life fully intact. But we're not done yet, because even if your mind is calm, one thing could still be attacking your brain from outside your phone or tablet screen. Every night, millions of older adults lie in bed, scrolling through their phones, checking emails, reading news, or watching videos in the dark. It may seem like an innocent way to unwind. But if you're over 60, this habit may be quietly attacking your brain's most delicate blood vessels without you even knowing it. As a neurologist, I've seen more than a dozen stroke cases where patients had no history of heart problems, diabetes, or smoking, just a seemingly harmless bedtime routine involving glowing screens. The real danger lies in something called blue light exposure. The screens on smartphones, tablets, and TVs emit short wavelength blue light, which is known to suppress the body's production of melatonin. Melatonin is a natural hormone that helps regulate your circadian rhythm, also known as your internal body clock. When the sun goes down, your brain is supposed to start producing melatonin to prepare your body for rest. This includes lowering your blood pressure, slowing your heart rate, relaxing your blood vessels, and initiating healing processes in your brain and heart. However, when you expose your eyes to artificial blue light before sleep, especially in a dark room, melatonin production is delayed or blocked altogether. That delay may only be a few hours, but that short disruption can have serious consequences for seniors. Why? Because without melatonin, your blood pressure doesn't fall the way it should. Your blood vessels stay constricted. Your heart keeps pumping at daytime intensity. And all of this occurs while your body is lying still, making it easier for blood to pool and form tiny clots in areas where circulation is already weak. Seniors are especially vulnerable because aging naturally reduces blood vessel elasticity. When vessels are stiffer and under constant pressure, even small changes in nighttime blood flow can trigger strokes. I remember a patient named Mrs. Valerie Hopkins, a 76-year-old retired nurse from Michigan. She was a healthy woman who loved connecting with her grandchildren and watching health videos before bed. Her nightly routine was always the same. She turned off all the lights, climbed into bed, and spent 45 minutes scrolling through her iPad. One morning, her husband found her sitting up in bed, unable to move her right arm and barely able to speak. She had suffered a posterior circulation stroke, one of the most dangerous types that affects the lower brainstem and cerebellum. Her blood work showed elevated cortisol and signs of nocturnal hypertension. But what stood out the most was her brain scan. It revealed long-term damage consistent with years of late-night high blood pressure and restricted blood flow. Valerie had no idea her screen time was silently stressing her vascular system night after night. When I explained what happened, she looked devastated and said, "I just wanted to feel connected. I never imagined I was burning out my brain." Her case is not unique. The neurological system is deeply tied to sleep quality. When sleep is shallow, fragmented, or disrupted by light, your brain cannot detoxify or regulate its systems properly. One of the brain's key cleansing mechanisms, the glymphatic system, operates most effectively during deep sleep. It clears waste proteins and toxins linked to stroke, dementia, and inflammation. But if blue light prevents you from reaching that state, your brain is left partially clogged every morning, increasing risk over time. Worse, blue light doesn't just delay sleep, it confuses the brain into thinking it's daytime, leading to misfiring of hormone signals and delayed blood pressure recovery. That's why many seniors who use screens late at night wake up feeling groggy, lightheaded, or unsteady. It's not just sleep deprivation, it's cardiovascular dysregulation in progress. The solution, thankfully, is simple. Avoid using phones, tablets, or TVs in the hour before bed. If you must use a screen, turn on night mode, reduce brightness, and use a blue light filter. But ideally, replace screens with brain-friendly activities that calm the nervous system. Try reading a paperback book, listening to soft instrumental music, writing in a journal, or practicing gentle breathing. Create an environment that tells your brain it's safe to slow down. Use warm lights instead of bright white LEDs. Keep your room cool, quiet, and dark. These small adjustments restore melatonin production, protect your arteries, and promote deep restorative sleep. The goal is not just to fall asleep, it's to give your heart and brain a chance to repair. 1 hour of screen-free time before bed may protect your memory, mobility, and independence for years to come. Seniors deserve rest that heals, not habits that hurt. What you do with your screen tonight could either help you wake up strong tomorrow or wake up in a hospital bed wondering what went wrong. Your health is worth the quiet. Choose rest, not radiation. Choose recovery, not routine. Choose your future, not a glowing screen. Many seniors believe skipping breakfast is harmless, especially if they aren't hungry or want to manage weight. But after 60, this habit can silently endanger your brain and heart. Overnight, your body fasts for 8 to 10 hours. During that time, your glucose drops, your blood thickens slightly, and your arteries, already less flexible, become narrower. When you wake up and skip breakfast, you extend that stress. Without fuel, your blood pressure becomes erratic, your circulation suffers, and your brain is forced to function with reduced energy and oxygen. This is especially dangerous for older adults, whose systems are already more fragile. I remember a patient, Mr. Wallace, 79, who followed intermittent fasting. One morning, after skipping breakfast and taking his usual walk, he collapsed from a mini stroke. His blood sugar was critically low, his pressure high, and his blood was too thick. He told me later, "I thought I was helping my health. I didn't know I was starving my brain." Your brain needs morning stability, This doesn't mean a heavy meal. It means balance. I recommend a small breakfast within an hour of waking: a boiled egg, half an avocado, whole grain, toast berries, and a glass of water. This provides steady glucose supports, hormone balance, and restores hydration. Another patient, Mrs. Barnett, 82, avoided breakfast for years. She felt dizzy and foggy each morning, assuming it was aging. But after adding a small meal and water, her symptoms almost vanished. It wasn't age, it was lack of fuel. Between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., your brain is most sensitive to blood flow changes. Waking up dehydrated and unfed puts extra pressure on your heart and arteries. It's like starting a car with no oil. Eventually, something breaks. Skipping breakfast doesn't just affect energy, it affects memory balance and blood pressure. That's why I tell every senior breakfast is a form of protection. It's not optional. Even a few bites can stabilize your body for the day. Focus on simple whole foods: leafy greens, oats, eggs, berries, and nuts. Support healthy circulation, reduce inflammation, and help prevent clots. Don't replace real food with supplements or sugary snacks. What you eat and whether you eat shapes your morning brain function. Stroke, cognitive decline, and heart issues don't come from one mistake. They build over time from daily habits. But healing also begins with small, consistent choices. Start with 1 glass of water, 1 balanced breakfast, 1 calm morning. Your brain will thank you not just today, but for the years to come.